Alrighty, everybody. Welcome back to the Bondcast. Today I'm going to be talking about how I would say Hitman World of Assassination is an incredible blueprint for 007 First Light. When I say blueprint, I don't mean exact replica. I mean there's a lot of really strong elements from Hitman that I would say would implement themselves very well into 007 First Light. Now, I'm not saying this really to influence them in any way because it looks like they've already done it. I'll be going through the website as well uh, for IO Interactive. They have a web page for 007 First Light, so it'll be kind of a two-parter thing. I'm going to be talking about the website and kind of drawing comparisons from the things they show here uh, that make me feel like they are, pulling heavily from their most recent game, Hitman World of Assassination. I said most recent, but now I'm not sure if that counts. Mind's eye. But moving on from that, that's not what we're here to talk about today. But yeah, I hope you're all doing well. And let's go ahead and jump right in looking at this website. Don't forget to sign in or sign up and get some free items. Also, I'm going to be making a YouTube short. It'll be, I think, my second YouTube short. Excuse me. Oh, goodness. Talking about wishlisting 007 First Light. I'll also show it a little bit later, but there's pretty much like different tiers for rewards for 007 First Light, depending on the community, how many wish lists the game gets prior to its launch. So we'll be looking at that. But just make sure if you guys want Project, I keep saying that, if you guys want 007 First Light, if you guys are going to play it day one, you might as well wish list it. Kind of help get the community some rewards. You can do that from this website, I'm fairly certain. So we've already seen the trailer. Make sure you guys watch my fairly short reaction video for it if you guys are interested in seeing that. And then, of course, we have game pillars. First up, we got Become 007. This is, as we already knew, standalone reimagined James Bond origin story. And the events that led up to an audacious young hero to become the best MI6 agent. Not necessarily what we're here to look at, but you do get a really good look at James Bond in this game with his popped collar, his scar, and his perma smirk. Let's see. Let's move on to the next one. I love the way the environments look so far. It's just such a beautifully, rendered world, so colorful. Thrilling espionage adventure, breathtaking locations. Yeah, drive iconic vehicles. That's what I'm excited for. When they mean iconic vehicles, I'm assuming there's going to be ways to get your hands on probably the DB5. I mean, we've already got the DBS, which is iconic in its own right. I'm kind of hoping for maybe even a little bit more than that. Maybe we can get the Lotus. Just saying, like we can really be thinking outside the box with this. But I'm looking forward to see what vehicles they decide to throw in here. And when it says Rogue Agent, if you are not tracking, it seems like we're assuming that's 009 at the moment. They do make a brief mention about them being Master Manipulator, I think it said, who is always one step ahead. So we're going to see how that looks, or when the game comes out, obviously. Maybe in some future gameplay and trailers, they might show us a bit more on that. Spying your way. This is one of the main things I'm going to be hearkening back to when it says you can go silent or you can go loud. Whether fighting with your fists or firepower, using gadgets to infiltrate, or bluffing your way past guards, the approach is entirely up to you. So I'll be coming back to this, but this is one of the main things that reminds me of Hitman World of Assassination. Let's see. Welcome to MI6. Test your skills and replay your favorite missions with additional modifiers for endless espionage fun. This is another one I'm coming back to. Let me make sure the sound's recording real quick. Is it? Yeah, okay, cool. Sorry, this is my third time trying to record this because the sound was not recording for the first one and there was an issue the second time. So, sorry, I just wanted to make sure. But yeah, those are the main two that I plan on talking about today. The replayability section and the spying your way section. So we'll come back to that. Let's continue looking here. This is what I was talking about with the wish list. So there's 4 tiers that they've shown us. Tier 1, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen any specific numbers, like how many wish lists we need to unlock each tier. I don't think I've seen that anywhere. I could be wrong. That information could be somewhere, but I don't know where it is. But either way. So for Tier 1, we unlock a unique skin and an animated wallpaper. Tier 2, we unlock a gadget skin and a streaming overlay. Tier 3, we unlock deluxe skin and developer AMA. And then the fourth tier is a secret reward that I very much want to see what it is. So I haven't gotten around to wishlisting mine yet, but I know I'm going to buy it, so I will be wishlisting it, as soon as I get the chance. Maybe I should do it while I actually have the site up, but either way, if you're planning on buying it day one, go ahead and just wishlist it for yourself. About the game, we get a short little blurb there, but then we get the rest of IOI's projects. All right, so back to, oh, I passed it up. What a fool. All right, so keep it up. Spying your way. It doesn't show the whole screen. All right, sorry, I'm learning here. But yeah, so when I was talking about that blueprint, right, I kind of had three major things that I want to see kind of continued in their own way. Not ripped straight from Hitman. I don't really want to see Hitman 007, right, where it's the same game but like a coat of paint for James Bond. And it, before we got this trailer, I was, thinking, that's a real possibility. But based on what we're seeing now, it does look like they decided to do the right thing and make it a bit more unique than that. But I guess we'll just have to see with time just how different they actually are. But so far, I'm going to go ahead and get started with stealth. Hitman, World of Assassination, at least in my experience, you can do quiet or loud. I find it is significantly, like almost unreasonably difficult if you're trying to be a loud only player. It's very much incentivized to just stay quiet, do the stealth route. But there's like 100 different ways you can complete a mission stealthily. So you have a lot of options. I originally was a little worried that I was like, all right, they're probably going to be really incentivizing stealth. But it does look like that's not going to be the case. Like, it's an option. Sure, you can complete any mission stealthily. But it's James Bond. Every James Bond game I've ever played, my favorite missions, the ones that I still remember, the ones that I want to play so bad, are the loud, insane ones. The train mission from Everything or Nothing, like driving to the train, that vehicle mission was so much fun. I remember. And then, of course, the Jaws boss fight at the end of that whole sequence. And then the tank mission. You're in a tank. Maybe those are just my favorite missions because I'm not a very incredible stealth player. But the point that I was getting to is that I was a little worried that they were going to maybe incentivize stealth a little too much and kind of take away from the experience that would be just taking it loud, just grabbing a rifle and gunning everyone down. Because in Hitman, it very much does not incentivize that. It's very dangerous to do that. I've lost so many missions from even risking playing loud for a second. Stealth is the way to go in Hitman, and I'm glad that there's a bit more reason that you can do both. You can do it either way. It looks a lot more forgiving than Hitman is the point. But either way, that's the main thing. I'm glad that there are options because that kind of lends itself into this next one. So if there's a bunch of different ways to complete a mission, right? There's, you can bluff, you can fight, you can shoot, you can use gadgets. If there's a bunch of different options, then of course when you're going to replay that mission, you have a lot of different ways to re-experience it, right? And that's one thing that I love about Hitman. In my opinion, Hitman World of Assassination is one of the most replayable single-player games that I own and that I play consistently because it's just they reuse a lot of the same assets, but it doesn't feel boring. It doesn't feel the exact same, right? They have a lot of beautiful locations and a lot of different missions, a lot of side missions and variations and elusive contracts and story missions. They're all in like the same locations, right? So you really get to kind of re-experience it every time. Different spawn locations, different modifiers, different amount of cameras to catch you, different amount of guards, different rotations that the guards will take. So you can't just like fully memorize the mission. Now, of course, you can. If you just only play the story version, you'll only get the story modifications. So I like that there's that option, It's like you can play the level the exact same way you've always have. Kind of, explore that what will be nostalgia in 30 years. Or you can continuously replay the mission in different ways with different modifiers, different challenges, different difficulty levels, really. And I'm very excited to, see how far they take that, right? I think they do a great job in Hitman for that. I think if I was going to see anything that's a direct copy from Hitman, this is what I'd want it to be, because I think Hitman does it very well. Though I really hope in many ways that they kind of take their own approach, and I think they will. The only replayable missions, I don't know how much you can really change about the vehicle missions. I'm sure that there's a lot to change, but I don't know. I just feel like I feel like that's less likely to get any changes. It'll probably just be replaying driving missions, but like I said, interested to see how they pull that off. Another thing Hitman does well that I would like to see, but this isn't like I'm planning on doing a wish list video later, and this will probably make it on there. Uh, the locations in Hitman, they have side missions and things that you will never see if you don't go to one side of the map. You know, if you don't spare a certain NPC, or if you don't kill them and take their outfit, you may never find some of these side missions, some of these you know random things throughout that location that might either make the mission easier, get you a lot of experience, unlock you a skin or equipment. There's all kinds of things, and there are some side missions that I really enjoy. Like they're just funny. I think Hitman does a lot well with that, and you know if they're not going to do that for 007, that's fine. Whatever. But I really think it would be missing out. I like that kind of stuff. So to ballpark it, or not ballpark it, to summarize, that's wrong phrase I went with. I'm happy to see, the option of how you want to play stealth or loud is coming back from Hitman to this. And then of course pre-planning, mission modifiers, replayabilities there, and then of course side missions and all of that. Wow, I just said the most three basic things that most games have, but what I meant to say is I like the way it's implemented. It's extremely similar to Hitman World of Assassination. Now the last thing I'm going to hit is the kind of cinematic experience. I'm glad that it's kind of going its own way. It looks like it's going to tell a more linear story, probably within the missions. But with Hitman, the thing I liked about World of Assassination is that it's got Hitman 1, 2, and 3 in it. So what I mean by that is, if you play Hitman 1 in World of Assassination, it has incredible cinematics, like extremely detailed, extremely entertaining, extremely well written cinematics and cutscenes. 2 and 3 did not have those. 2 had like some comic paneling, still images, and Hitman 3 had in-game cutscenes because they were no longer with that partner company that was kind of helping fund those cutscenes. So, but if you go back and you play the first one, I mean, just look at those cutscenes. I mean, that was really exciting to me. I was really hoping that we get something like that, and it does look like we're going to have a good combination of in-game cutscenes and like rendered cutscenes in 007 First Light. So either way, I think it looks fantastic. I think everything I'm asking for today, we already know we're getting. Like the things that I think are strong in Hitman World of Assassination, it looks like we're already going to see them in 007 First Light in their own way, in their own capacity, to where it's not just the same game over again. So I'm very excited to see. I mean, it's just a match made in heaven. IO Interactive working on a James Bond game after doing Agent 47 for so long. I don't know. I'm just extremely excited to see how it goes. I think the game looks fantastic. It's my most anticipated game of 2026. I know I've seen some comments like, what about GTA 6? It's like, for me personally, I'm pre-ordering 007 First Light. Probably not pre-ordering GTA 6. I will get that eventually. I'm definitely going to play it, but not before this. If they came out on the same day, I'm picking up 007 First Light for sure. The one thing I think it's missing out on, and we haven't gotten any confirmation on this, I was holding out hope that there might be a multiplayer feature, co-op or versus or something. But I was looking at the Xbox storefront where they added this game, and it does say single player is the only mode. So it's possible that they're withholding that until they confirm it, or show it in a trailer or later, or gameplay reveal. I'm still holding out a little bit of hope that there's co-op because it's such a big deal to me. A lot of my childhood was based on the From Russia with Love, Nightfire, and Everything or Nothing multiplayer that I would play with my dad and my friends. And even to a certain extent, I did play Quantum of Solace online for a little bit, but yeah, that one didn't hold up as long as the rest did. I still go back to play Everything or Nothing with my dad every time I see him. So, but no, I would like to see it. I'd like to see some kind of multiplayer, but if it's not here, maybe it'll be in the sequel, 007 Second Light. I'm sorry. I made that shitty joke, the first take. I didn't make it the second time, and then for whatever reason I decided to make it this time. But either way, so that's kind of what I'm looking for, as far as the blueprint from Hitman World of Assassination, going into 007 First Light. I hope I made sense. I'm trying to do this without a script because when I have a script, it goes from hard to watch to just ridiculously awful. So thank you all for sticking around if you've gotten this far into the video, ignoring my cringe habits and being very forgiving of my my quirks, right? We'll say that. But I'm figuring it out, and I'm grateful for the 5 of you I have so far. How fantastic! But yeah, so I will be doing another video eventually. It should be next week, I think, talking about my wish list for 007 First Light. I'm trying to keep it quite simple, like just things I'd like to see. If you guys have any thoughts, if you guys have any recommendations or anything for me at all, please go ahead and drop it down below. I have a poll in my community page. Make sure you guys go vote on that as well. But thank you all for stopping by, everyone. I hope you guys have a great day. Ready. Peace out. Later.